All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again on the Exit Way Roundtable. With Andrew and I today, we have Paula Goodman with us. Welcome, Paula.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're just happy to have you because it's going to be a great to talk to you a little bit about yourself, your background, and then about your incredible writing that you do, and go from there. So. You live in Canada, and that like some other friends of ours, like Ron Craig and my partner Andrew there, the newly certified Canadian citizen,
half Canuck. Yeah.
We were just talking about it. You live outside of Niagara Falls on the north and west a bit from in Canada there, so that's cool. Nice time of year. There with the fall, you were saying. So good. Well, can you tell us a little bit, Paula? We'll get to today because the people that have seen your stuff, we'll talk about that for a while, but let's start back a ways and kind of talk about what really brought you here and some of your background and stuff that kind of got you going, some of the things in life that kind of stuck out to you in your head that.
Well, first of all, I was born.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to go.
What brought me here? Wow, it's been quite a journey. Everything I ever did has brought me to where I am today. But as for being here on social media, it was somewhere where I just kind of evolved, really. I was in a situation where life was pretty crappy.
Yep.
I didn't want to be a part of it. I wanted to leave. I wanted to exit life. I was battling with my own mental health issues, depression, anxiety, PTSD. I was in an abusive relationship with a narcissist. My sense of value is gone, depleted. I had no hope, really. So my work situation was, because of my issues at work, I was in a toxic environment, had to take it to another level, and I took some time off.
Yeah.
And then it came to a resolution, and I decided the best thing for me would be to leave the situation. I can't really get into the details.
Yeah.
Dignity is something I have to hold on to. And that means respecting everybody involved. I've taken something great from everywhere I've been in life, every experience as well. The part of me that brought me back to LinkedIn, I had joined it ages ago as just like a resume CV showcase. I thought, okay, it's a career place. I'll throw my stuff online, and pretty much left it as something to update every now and then. I think everybody goes into a work situation. If you're not 100% happy, you're hoping somebody's going to discover you this way.
Yeah.
You're like, if I put every accomplishment I've ever done here, maybe somebody might see me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the mentality back then, and things started to change when it was sold, and it has evolved to a social media platform. Because I think more and more humanity shows up on social media in a way that we cannot fight it. It's there. It has to be part of the workforce. You cannot separate life from work. There is a balance, but you can't separate it. You can't walk into your work and just leave everything outside the door. Whatever happens to before you walk into work or join your workforce is going to affect how you perform that day.
Mm-hmm.
People at work who are in leadership, in management, or any role, actually, they have to feed each other, encourage each other. We all want to lead at work, but we also need to be led, and we have to be part of a team, and you kind of support each other in that way. It's like, if you don't know your people, how are you going to make it work?
Yeah.
when you pay attention to the people, because everybody learns differently too. If you want them to perform better, listen to them, get to know them, learn how they learn, because training isn't all one way. You know, some people need a visual, some people need to do it. I'm a visual. If I can't do it myself, I have to do it 5 times. I have to write it out and do it. But when a lot of the stuff is online or by a computer, tell me how to do it. Do it with me. Let me do the typing. Don't just take my computer and do it for me, that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm getting off topic.
No, you talk a lot about, and I don't know how to say it, but I'll just go out and say it because I don't use the right words. But it sucks that you had to go through what you had to go through in life, right? And it sucks that you had to get to those situations. But what I see and what I hear in you today is someone that those situations, while they sucked when you went through them, it made you stronger and probably even happier today because of it.
Exactly. I've learned a great deal. As part of not wanting to live, not feeling any value, you get into a desperate situation. People can't tell you to just snap out of it.
Yeah.
When you are in depression, you are wearing a heavy cloak. You are drowning every single day. It's an effort to get up, to see what you contribute to the planet. When you've been in circumstances where you've been made to think in abuse that you don't matter. Nobody cares what you have to say. You are brainwashed. You lose it. And when you start, I'm the type of person, I know there's help there. I collected as much help as I can. I did my therapy. I went to see people, but nothing was happening. You still feel desperate and think it's not working. It's not working. But the thing that you have to do is you have to keep going. I'm very disciplined in that sense. And then one day it just it clicks. You have to keep doing it. What you do over and over becomes a lifestyle. Those little things that you do, you have to be consistent at it and just keep at it. And one thing for me, I mean, when it comes to not having a sense of hope, to have that one thing to hold on to is probably what will save you. If you don't have once you lose all sense of hope, my theory, your mind goes first. Your mental health is most important. If you lose your mind, your body will follow.
Yes, 100%.
It's not a choice. You don't want to leave. You don't want to die. That's why you keep going. You keep getting up, but you don't know why until it makes sense one day. And in my desperation, for me, it was just that one day where, I kind of looked at something, an image of God that I had here, and I just looked at him and I said, I haven't really talked to you in a while, but I have something to say. And I kind of just started crying, and I said, you know what, you gave me this life, I'm giving it back. I'm not doing it right. And I know, give us free will. I'm not doing it well. And I pretty much told him, I said, you can have it back. I'm giving it all back to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to believe in you. I have faith in you. I don't know where I'm going, but this life is back on you. And from that day on, it was like an epiphany. And I'm just like, I started feeling better. I started thinking more of my children, who were my probably the thread of hope that kept me going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had that. There is something, I mean, you do matter. You don't know how you are contributing in this world, but you do make a difference.
Yeah.
And that I can say, you just have to hold on. You have to hold on. There is something. You're meant to be here. We all are. Some of us, we figure it out. Somebody might tell you how much you've made a difference to them. Some people die and have no clue that they've made a difference to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's the greatest gift to be told that you have. But anyway, so from then on, it was just kind of like, wow, slowly. Like that was over 1.5 years ago. And wow, the strength just started coming back. I mean, I got up off the floor and dusted myself off, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. You know?
Yeah.
When you give to God, he gives you back. And it's almost like he's standing there, and yeah, people like to blame God. It's like, no, that's the free will. He gives it to you, and then he stands there and waits for you to invite him back. So anyway, that's where I was. And I went back to, I was wondering what the heck I'm going to do. I decided to leave the corporate role, resolve that. There was a harassment issue. So
done with that.
Yeah. Done with that, done with this. I mean, everything that you could think about having the marriage breakdown, everything was all at once. So, I mean, I was hit hard with a lot of triggers all at once.
Yeah.
No wonder I was like beaten on the floor. I'm like, come on, give me some more.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Like now, from what I'm hearing, you're talking about too how you're building, on things positively.
Exactly.
From that point, right, little by little.
Exactly.
How you're recognizing, I guess it's unfortunate. It's kind of our human condition that you have to kind of go through the worst in order to recognize what's good.
Yeah, you do. You really learn from the hardest things. You really don't think your life, and like, I mean, I thought my life was a curse. I'm like, can it get any worse? Can it get any better? Like, you're just stuck.
Yeah.
You're just stuck, and you have no idea what to do. I was watching LinkedIn. I was one of the people that was just watching, coasting around, a few comments here and there. I was just watching it. And I thought maybe I'm going to need another career here. And then I decided after this epiphany, I'm like, what can I do? And as I'm reading along on LinkedIn, I saw more than just the career aspirations part of it. I thought there's a lot of people as heartbroken as I am here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in desperate situations. It's not all that bad. You have to trust the process. It takes time. If you read about somebody else and you're open about it, you feel comfort, because I was getting comfort from other people being open about them. And I'm like, wow, I'm not alone here, I used LinkedIn for resources. I took online courses and free webinars, and there was so much that was filling the void of my depressed time. So it was just incredible. And when I saw on LinkedIn that this was happening, and I started thinking, like, what can I do? There's something here for me. Why am I compelled to be coming online all the time?
Yeah.
And it was almost like I thought of the writing, and then there's this voice in my head going, you can help people.
Yep.
You've been through some shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
But it was like God telling me, you know what, you can go on here and you can help. You can encourage people. And that's all I wanted to do, was help people. And just encourage them. My aim was the human heart, because like, we're all in this together. No matter how desperate you are. You're not alone.
Back, we were talking, you kind of went into it a little bit about, you're at work all the time, and, we're talking a little bit more about you can't, I want to see if we can talk about that a little bit more, because, we've had a lot of conversations about that, and everybody's thinking a lot more about mental health and just, performance, and, we're going through workplace right now and really scrutinizing, what that's all. I was thinking of Alonzo Bear, has talked a lot about that, and he's been doing this long before COVID, but challenging the fact that, you can't have personal relationships at work, and that whole concept of that, and, what the workplace is, right. It's got this kind of facade or wall around you, and that kind of stuff. Maybe we could go into that a little bit. You started, I think, about that, and I was curious to hear more. Well, what's your experiences with that?
As in your personal life and work life?
I think so. Or, it's the idea that, you can't have friends at work, or you can't make relationships. I'm not, at a certain level, especially when it's hierarchical, and you've got, between, in the workplace relationships and stuff like that too. So, it's, we were talking about it more in some of our discussions are going around, in the best business relationships are personal relationships, right? Where you actually, you do things with people you care about, and it's part of the culture and the community, right?
Right.
And
my mentality going into any working workplace, any job I've ever had, I hold with pride.
Mhm.
First of all, I mean, this is what I do. It's a role that I have. I'm going to do the best that I can do.
Mhm.
You got to go in with that badge of honor and do the best that you can do. You don't go looking for friends at work.
Mm.
It's just not something you do. But if you get a friend, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like getting that bonus at work. We don't go into work like we don't get to pick the family we're born into.
Mhm.
You know, and they say don't work with family, right?
Mhm.
Don't go into business with family.
That's a topic.
Yeah, I mean, we're right now.
Yeah.
Some
There's
work,
a-
some don't. Yeah. But I think I've made some really good friends over the years. And unfortunately, over the years too, I've seen this gradual, I don't know, just inclination is that to just discredit any kind of friendship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that to me was kind of tough. It's like, well, how am I supposed, if I ask somebody a question, like, how's it going? It's up to them. I would leave the questions open-minded because you had to be more aware of how you were asking questions of your employees type thing, because wow, you can be slapped with harassment within seconds.
Yeah.
And it made it harder for you to actually value one another. Everything was kind of like this invisible wall. Like,
Mhm.
you can't be my friend, you're my boss, or something like that.
Mhm.
And that's where the leaders need to say, you know what? No, I'm not going. This wall doesn't exist for me. I care about you as a person. Sometimes you can help somebody figure out maybe this role isn't for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe you belong somewhere else. If I don't get to know you fully, how am I supposed to help you? I need help me help you.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can't take the humanity out of business. It's humanity before business.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a happy workforce or try to get along at work and understand the human capacity to be social
Yeah.
and have that dignity, how are you impressing your workplace? Because when people aren't happy, they're less productive. I mean, all the studies are out there too. And happy people make a happier workplace. When they feel a value, you get better out of them. They want to help more. They want to please you. It's like that teacher. You want to just like please your teacher and get
Mhm.
that sense of pride back because it feeds back and forth.
Mhm. Well, that's, and that's it, right? And sometimes, where it depends on which side you're on, of course, but your employees, where are their heads at, and do you care enough to ask? Sometimes it
That's
is
the
very
one thing. You care enough to ask, because I'll tell you what, that is where it has to start with somebody. Is if you're in working with somebody every single day, if they're suffering from something or not. I mean, you can sense it. And yeah, when what Andrew and I and you probably grew up in, I'm assuming we're older than you. That's what I'm saying. So when we were working, it was like, that's not a line that you cross. You were taught that's not a line that you cross.
Yeah.
And especially if you were one of the people that were at the highest level in the companies, and then it was, God, no, don't ever go there.
Well, there are lines drawn on the other side too. Don't bring your stuff to work.
Yeah, don't bring your stuff to work. Yeah, good point.
And there's it's all these kind of hidden kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Whether you bring your stuff to work or not, it still affects the work. It affects everything. Affects the culture within the organization, and
it's baggage, no matter what. You see somebody, and it's not always bad behind work too. Some people come in with the greatest moods, and you see people who are feeling sour. You don't know if they're going through a divorce or had a big fight the next day, or if somebody's celebrating a birthday. How do you merge all these characters into one?
Or you won the lottery and I quit.
Yeah.
Got one team player that didn't pitch in the lottery, like,
oh,
for you.
But the thing that I think, if we have to look back and like anything in your life experiences, COVID is teaching us a lot because we're having to communicate and work with people in an environment like this, where we can see into our homes, where we can see that there's kids running around behind. We're trying to homeschool kids at the same time. And I think that's helping. I think that's helping us bring humanity into business. And I really think if there's anything that I'm glad about, that's what I see that really I think is positive. Is it positive?
I have to say, I totally agree. It's pretty impressive because I always knew that, like you have to merge the two in a certain flair. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, his father used to be Prime Minister too, Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Yeah.
He made a comment about state has no place in the bedroom. And it seems to have flipped right now because of COVID, that we are now doing Zoom in the bedroom. And so people
that's true. That's the office for a lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you think about it too, like
why you can do this.
You can do that. Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because people are so unprepared when this all started. Like, you still don't know who's going to walk behind you. You see all the what are they called when those mishaps when they happen, or somebody doesn't realize the camera's still on.
Bloopers, I guess.
Bloopers, that's it. Yeah. So anyway, like this happens, and yet the work has no right to criticize it if they haven't helped you through it.
Well, what I noticed is, in a couple instances too, and someone's granddaughter came in and they're babysitting, and you know what? It brought another level. Nobody's getting uptight about that because the meeting was interrupted. Everybody felt, wow, that's really cool. I recognize genuine kind of a positive reaction. Nobody was in a hurry, and it's just kind of cool to see that the people you're working with, just like us.
It is. And it really gives you a little glimpse into who they are. We're all relaxed in our own home.
Right.
True.
Whether you're wearing pants or not, I have to say that. I know Ron's watching.
Yeah.
Busted.
Yeah. They gotta get.
It's just hilarious. Like, I mean, like,
although I do have to say, to be truthful there, I have worn sweats now, I think, for about 8 months while on meetings. I think I've had jeans.
I wear yoga pants.
There you go. See,
I haven't dressed up in so long, and I don't miss it. I don't miss it. If I was to put any heels on or anything, I would hurt.
I saw that you're in. I'm into yoga too, and I miss my yoga though. We set up kind of a thing here, and we do it online, but it's tough not being able to go to the studio.
Yeah, but sometimes if you just find the right voice, you should be able to do yoga with your eyes closed.
Well, I do flow, so I do flow yoga, so I like the heat, so.
Yeah.
And it's hard to replicate that here.
I do like the heat too, but there is something about the heat too, that when you're dealing with your chakras, you're generating your own heat. If you're working out in heat, you're clashing. Mm-hmm. Because your own heat is going to clash with the heat on the outside, and the energy is just thrown off kilter there. But anyway, that's my thing.
I have biomechanical reasons because prenatal joints need the heat.
No, I like the heat too. I really do. I like the sweat because that makes that's lubrication for your joints and everything.
It gets things moving. Yeah, exactly.
but the flexibility is all up in your mind. If you can close your eyes, and if somebody can describe to you where to set your body, then you're with great instruction. So it really depends on who you're listening to.
It gets better, but I'm the least flexible person I think I know. It's so
if you don't remember, you guys have said this before too. Focus on where you want to be. You have to think the perfect pose. There is no perfect pose, mind you, because there's always exploration. There's no final destination.
Yeah.
But if you think of where you want your body to be, your body may be in some other, like if you were to look in the mirror, it's not where you think it is. But as long as you're thinking it and explore it in your body, it's like the Star Trek Enterprise. I can just you're off in another world. Think about like there's over 200 bones. There's all this blood. There's cells. You can focus on your pinky finger, your thumb, your toe, but it's where you focus and send the breath. With the proper breathing, you're doing that internal massaging of your organs and sending fresh oxygen. So get rid of the bad breath. Always exhale breath longer than you do inhale.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, I have to actually remember that.
I've been trying to get him to convince him to give it a try, but
hey, as long as you're as long as you're doing something, it's movement, and movement is improvement.
Yeah.
That's right.
No,
stop moving, stop living. So
yeah, exactly. And the thing is like that's the other thing that's been kind of interesting about COVID is to see how some people have reacted to COVID, and you see some, unfortunately, the couch and junk food got to them, and then you see some people that really took it, and like yoga is something that you could really get pretty darn good at it in your home by watching videos or giving somebody on video like Andrew does with that. And it's interesting to see that how it's affected people differently. But I really think that if you take the time to be positive or do positive things while you're stuck like this, we're semi-quarantined, it makes it so much better. I mean, your brain just is, because you go back again to the health and you figure out, okay, what's good today? Well, at least I'm going to get some exercise, and I'm going to get to do something today,
I took my mat outside. I would go out in the backyard, put it down, and just do it there. The sunshine, the clouds, the birds, the squirrels, everything, just being part of nature. Oh my gosh.
There you go, Joe.
Joe is his
put the tree down. Get out there.
No.
I wasn't going to say anything, Joe. I wasn't going to say anything. Yeah. And he said,
stuff.
Oh, look at Ron lost 20 pounds since COVID started.
Wow.
That's good.
That's impressive. Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different for different people.
Yeah.
There's more time, without having to get in a car and do that kind of stuff, and walking more, try to get some yoga in, a little exercise, and it's part of it, because if you don't bring it, you're not going to get through this anyway. So
there is a lot of people, like it's been a hell of a year.
Yeah.
It's not over. It's not over. And for 2020, we learned a lot. A lot of people have left, and a lot of people are still here.
Yeah.
Realizing what really matters, I think, has been something that has been enlightening to everyone. I think with the COVID, the awareness for mental health. Mental health. If you think about it, without that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I think that people are having a newfound kind of respect for mental health and understanding how important. Do you get that sense? Do you feel?
I think so.
Are you seeing that too? Yeah.
I like to think so. There was too much of a stigma before.
Yeah.
But I think what people didn't realize, everybody is susceptible to mental health. We all have a trigger. And this year, a lot of triggers went off.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the mental health industry. There's not enough services available. They're the ones that need more help too.
And you're in Canada.
I mean,
more available there than here.
Well, yeah, but also it's expensive.
Yeah,
it is.
$200 an hour to talk to a psychologist.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And really, all people need is someone to talk to. That human connection. And I think that's why people turn to online, because they're desperate. There's groups everywhere.
Yeah.
When I was dealing with narcissism, I found a Facebook group that helped me through everything and just made it clearer. And then one day it was like, I didn't need to go there anymore.
Yeah.
I learned a hell of a lot. I didn't know much about narcissism before and the effects it could have on somebody. that alone, I think, is a contributor to suicide.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When you are abused, you just want to end it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to face it, right? But that alone too, that's becoming more. People are becoming more aware of narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that guy.
we're not going to talk about Joseph.
Mr.
But
Of course.
I think you're right, though, because we got hit with so many things at once. When you look at it, some people got hit with job loss. Then you're at home, you can't go anywhere, and then you got your kids are at home with you too. If you've got children, and what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, there's some serious
Parents
serious
have to take on the teacher's role. Had to. Not only that, I mean, they were already stressed about, rushing everywhere. That was taken off the table, but now you're trying to do your work and keep it quiet in another room too. Impossible, really, when you got small little ones around.
Yeah.
And how many computers did they? Oh my God, I don't have enough computers. Some of these people have like 4, 5, 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are we all supposed to be online at once? I've seen stories after story, like people are just, I only have a phone. They don't have internet access.
Yes.
This had to all be considered in this kind of world that we live in now.
Yes.
When the last I looked online, like only half the world was connected online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's happening with the other half? But then that's connected. You think about everybody who's connected, that's also the family that they live in under the same roof too. So it's probably more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But accessibility, that was another concern. And then how do I pay for the bills? How do I do the cooking? How do I do this? And the stress just toppled. If you can't.
You said one thing. Just think how difficult it would be if you were not someone that cooked. Because there's some people that never cook. Now that I don't care one way or the other. We cook a lot, but if you had never cooked and you went to a restaurant shut down, that's why the grocery run went on. But just not that, but the stress that it causes, like now I have to learn to cook. I'm not, and they're probably not a good cook because there's a reason why they're not cooking or don't like it. One of the two, either way. But there was just so many things that were piling up on people.
Nutrition gets affected. Everything is affected. It doesn't matter. It topples over. So people have to, come in, step in, and start helping each other.
And that's the thing that I think that is really cool about it now. We talked about it's more human. Seems like business is more human, but you do see people reaching out. You see people like you talked about in the narcissist group or narcissism group. I'm not saying you're just saying it right, but on these kind of help groups where the people are really reaching out, and as Curtis Compton says a lot, is you reach your hand down and help the others up. That's what you do, and I see a lot of that, and that's good humanity, man. That's what that is.
That's prevailing. Yeah, maybe it's forced on us a little bit, but people are helping each other.
And what? It's Mother Nature's way of saying,
that's what we're supposed to do.
We have a birthright of dignity, and that should be honored first.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We have that birthright. That should be on our certificates of birth.
Yeah.
And that should be told from day one, no matter what. I don't care what the parents say. We're exposed. Let your school teachers, let the media say, you know what? You have value. You have the birthright of dignity. You matter. That's what we need to hear more than anything from day one, because that helps us become strong people and have faith in who we are. You have to have that relationship with yourself too.
Yeah.
If you don't have that relationship with yourself inside, you can't step outside very well. You are not 100% if you don't love yourself.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, and I think too, if you reach out and you help people, and now we're afforded that opportunity more than ever, it comes back to you and in your own, how you feel about yourself, and it's in the bank basically as far as
it does. And that's what, you see a lot about leadership. The leader is also a follower. And who helps the leader when they're down? Because not everybody is able to stay up all the time. We all take turns, and a leader sees the leader in everyone else. They light that candle and ignite it so that when they need a hand, they're human, and they get to share in the dignity too. And it's like, if you think about everybody in a circle and we all take turns falling and getting up, you'll see a little wave going. We all take turns. That's a team.
Well, yeah, exactly. And back to a work relationship, too. If you don't care, you're not really evolving a relationship with, other people who, you're not investing in them and just in your attention or your care. They're not going to do the same for you. And, that the dynamic of that is that's what we, bosses, like you said, you don't just come in and show people how to do everything, because you don't know how to do everything. It's not, you wouldn't need them. They're there with answers to the questions. They're there to solve the problems as well as, problems that we know are there, but we don't know, how to do it. We just know how to, how to get together and understand and figure out how to get through these things or around these things. And, if you don't do that, then, that's where it falls down. Right. So it is a very personal relationship.
And I don't know, one thing I used to hate hearing at work was, it is what it is. Yeah, it is. That's fate. But you know what destiny says? I got this.
Yeah.
It's going to stay what it is if you do nothing about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
I always like to hear, I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, for every one problem, there's a multitude of solutions you can choose from.
Yeah.
Never
it's very true. And then we're in the business, we go in and we're in the transactions, businesses changing hands or something. So we see, and that's, what you just said, one sentence from an employee that a buyer's going in and they're starting to interview and talk to the management team, and they go and they hear that one thing you just said, it is what it is. That automatically in their heads, a flag goes up, bad culture.
Yeah.
Bad, there's problems here, and we're going to keep,
It's a red flag.
Yeah, exactly. The red flag goes up.
And actually, even in the biggest deals you're talking about, like Sprint buying, or T-Mobile buying, and their diligence, things as small as that can derail. That you can see it. I've seen it happen. So, interesting stuff. Yeah.
I have to say, I mean, like I left a job that I really liked because of standing up for what I believed in was wrong. Yeah. And I didn't realize, you don't realize how long the process can take, how draining it can be, how serious it can affect you, because it can. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I stood up and believed and went as far as I did, and I went far, when I stood up, months later, other people stood up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which blew me away. So it kind of like, it didn't matter. Sure, I had to look at where I was. Can I afford to do this? I had support in certain areas, but it was, I can't live like this. It's going to eat at me. And if I didn't do anything, then there was just no way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's just no way. And when you go the legal route, sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And when your human rights are violated, you just got to do what's right. And when other people came up and stood up as well, wow, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
And the message got across.
Yeah.
Was the point. It needed to change.
That's awesome when you hear that, and it validates too a bit that you that it is real, it is happening, it is not just one person, one is more, and you do that.
Well, I would say too, sorry, Damon, like if you're in a situation at work where it's toxic and meeting you like that, you have to start gathering your evidence. It's something you have to do.
Yeah.
And email, document, send it to yourself, and get your evidence. Without backup, you can be screwed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say. I mean, like, and you want things in writing too, and that takes time to gather and process. So you really have to know what you have to do. And I learned by doing.
Well, it's interesting, but you know, the organizations, the systems, it's not just business, it's culture, and you know, it can be in any type of thing, but they're designed to keep things like that buttoned up. It's to protect, again, the entity and not, you know, really what is the entity? It's the people, you know, so it's kind of a back-ass way of, you know, things, but, you know, so it's very, very difficult to get that first straw pulled out of a pin pulled out of the thing, which is the first person who does it. Also the hardest, but you know, I don't think it's even that surprising, because if it's there, it's there, and then it just starts unraveling as soon as you starts doing it. It's a cheap suit. You know?
I mean, and you think about it too. I have to set an example. The same thing if I was in an abusive relationship, I can say, you know, like my daughter was 9 at the time and was really, really upset. And she said to me, like, it was a domestic and the police came, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she was mad at me and said, how could you do this? And I'm like, what kind of mom would I be to teach you that that was okay?
If you didn't do it. Exactly.
You know,
it's a natural reaction too. And, you know, you hope they come around.
I mean, it's just my job to plant some seeds. You know, but it's your choice to take those seeds and do what you want with them, right? But later in life too, in a career, I had to, like, I was in the middle. I was listening to it from below and I was getting it from above. And to me, it was just that one day I stood up and just went, this is it. And I think I got more respect out of doing that than anything. It was my integrity. It meant so much to me, and I had to do the right thing. And I miss the people. I miss coaching. I miss being with them. But it was time. It was just time. So and then it brought me to social media. I'm like, you know, my work and what I've done in training, like, it was the power of positive words. How can I apply them to LinkedIn? And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go and start writing. And I started posting every day. And it kind of turned into a poetic mood. And I'm like, you know what? It was, I saw what attracted people to social media. Something quick, something easy to read, gratifying to the eye, made a point, and had an impact. Then I added the visual, because they want a picture and then they want a video. But then I'm like, I'm not doing me. I have this video thing. Here I am. So, I mean, but it just kind of evolves, and it's just getting better. I mean, and it was helping people.
So when did you realize
it turned into poetry, and then people called me the poetess, and then somebody else called me a Word Jedi, and then it became Word Jedi Poetess, and I'm like, oh, it's working, you know.
That's cool. I was wondering when did you become the Word Jedi Poetess?
Probably I know. Back in November. It was 2 different people. Pramith Ranjan is the one who first bestowed me with the title Poetess. If he's in my post, and he usually is, I call him my godfather, because he bestowed the title upon me.
And who was that? I'm sorry.
He called me Poetess for the first time.
And who was that? I didn't.
Pramith Ranjan.
Got it.
Okay. So, I don't know if he's listening to this, but he's in my post. But usually I respond to him. I always call him my godfather, because I remember these things. And then another time, Michael Cortina called me Word Jedi. And the thing is, these 2 men said something, and people started putting it together. And then they started calling me. And then one day, somebody said to me, put it in your profile. I'm like, oh my God, that would be so cool. Am I that bold? Could I? No, I'll do it for Christmas. But I did it just before Christmas as a gift to me. I'm like, okay, here it is.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, you know,
But
if people haven't gone through your post.
Poetry is one thing, and to me, it was like I don't just deliver poetry. A lot of people think it's like fluffy stuff. To me, it's kind of something I made my own brand. It was something like bang, it had an impact. There was a moral lesson to it where I wanted to get people's hearts, get them to think, ask questions. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm just helping them think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's great.
As I've said before with Paula so many times, is if people that are listening to this, if you haven't read her stuff, you need to read it, and then you're gonna have to read it a few times, and me have to read it a lot of times. But it really does make you think. And I always, whenever I read your post, I think that had to be, for me, that's like a day just to come up with that. It'd be at least a day. And first of all, and then second of all,
engineer.
Yeah, it would drop out halfway through. 2 hours in, I'd say, screw this, I'm going home. But you read through it, and there are those messages that are embedded inside of the words that you write that are so clear when you do it that you almost feel like you hopefully you're getting to understand a little bit about the message you're really trying to send with it.
That's the whole creative part about it, is the fact that no matter who reads it, they're going to get a different idea.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's okay with me. I don't need you to get my ideas. I want you to have your own. I want to pound the imagination. I want you to have an open mind, and I want you to keep discovering, because there's so much to discover. And if you stop hammering the nail, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes.
I just want to be a hammer.
Yeah. Well, it's so cool because it flows from you. And if anyone looks at your post, I mean, do you post every day?
Almost every. I've actually had to slow down because I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with the feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback, and sometimes I'll take a day off because mentally I need it. Like I spend a good part of the day responding, and I'm not getting anything else done.
Yeah.
There's other places I like to go discover in LinkedIn as well, right? I have a lot of friends here, so
yeah.
But it was like, but there's part of me too, like I have so much to post, and I'm like, today I just can't. I can't. The energy alone, and I noticed too that when I post something like that, I don't have to. It carries itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes within an hour, it's got like 10 shares, and I'm thanking other people for sharing, but that gets around, and then it's like, oh my God, the DMs alone.
Yeah.
Wow. But that, to me, it's like, if I help but one person, I've made a difference.
Yeah.
That to me, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and your growth is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look up before we got on when we connected, but you've got about 90,000 followers right now. And those shares and things that you're doing, it's got to be at a pretty fast pace, isn't it?
I was kind of looking at that since, I don't know, March. I think I told you before, Damon. And to me, it's like, I may not get all the views of one post.
Yeah.
But the growth has been phenomenal. It's almost like 10,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't, like that to me is just like, wow.
Yeah.
Now in the background too, like I'm working on trying to get a book out there. I mean, there's a lot I'm learning there on which was the best way to do it. Do I go straight to Amazon? Do I do a hardcover? Do I do a soft cover? I'm talking to publishers, and I'm also organizing everything because it's a mess. It's all, you should see my notes in my Word. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, and I can see, your growth is because your words connect, and the words and the visuals, the way you put them together, connect with so many people. That's why they're attracted. We're attracted, not they.
Yeah, it's authentic, very authentic. It's really resonates.
I'm not going to be anybody else. I'm just me. I like what works for me. When I discover something new, I'm like all over it. Like when this whole face swapping thing I told Joseph about too. was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But then I'm like, looking at, then I did the one for today when you were saying, like, I'm like, oh my God, here's Phoebe. I'm going to put my face there because that was Phoebe from Friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is you don't even have to worry about wardrobe. But
That was hilarious.
but when I find something, I find so much fun because I think there's power in not just the visual, but the words, vision, and music. When I can do that within 20 seconds and make an impact, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That gets them reading. It's like, you know what, come in. I can't just say, come and read this. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to show them.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Like, I'm out on my own now. I'm just trying to be a freelance writer. I registered a business, but like, you know what? There's a lot more to it, and I realize it's going to take time. That's fine, but you have to show people now.
Yeah.
And pretty much what they've done. So the feedback is there, and now I've evolved and become what LinkedIn has created in a way.
Yeah.
I just went out there and did what I thought I was told to do, basically. Like,
Yeah.
share words, and here I am. And I'm telling you, I'm so blessed. And when you want to go out there and help others, it does help you. It's incredible. Life-saving.
Too, for anybody else, going into LinkedIn too, and a lot of it, they come in and like you experience what you're experiencing. There's so much, going on too. You can't do it all. You don't have to. But, do take the time, have fun with it, and go and find people like Paula Goodman. And, they're there, right? But, I think for a lot of people, you're missing out if you turn away just because of, all the noise that's on there and the things that aren't really, hit.
There's a lot of people that feel compelled to just go in and follow. It's kind of like that herd mentality. I got to go here. It's okay if you don't see or participate in everything. I have this theory. If I'm meant to see something, I'll see it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. In the beginning, I felt bad. I had to respond to everything. And tagging was a big one. And I'm just, sometimes I'd be tagged and I'm like, I don't get it. Why? But then you're honored at the same time because they appreciate you, right?
Sure.
But it was just, it's hard to keep up. And then you just have to tell yourself it's okay.
You can only do what you can do.
Respond to every notification. And then by November, I just couldn't. I was missing them. And I think I went online and I said, you know what, LinkedIn, you have a problem. You need a bookmark. I'm losing my spot on notifications. And I went to LinkedIn Help, and I made a big splat about it. It was the last time I mass and tagged anybody because I thought it was the most important thing in the world on LinkedIn. That we need, listen to the users. We're going to tell you where you need to fix it.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that your notifications don't work after your network gets to a certain size. They just don't work. And really, as Ira Bowman, for people that don't know, Ira, the way he teaches you how to do it with using bookmarks, it's the only way you can do it. And you check the important people every day or whenever you think you need to. That's the only way to do it.
To point to that too, I said that you have to do the bookmarks only on your desktop.
Yep.
You can't do it on a mobile.
Oh.
So once in a while, I have to go to my desktop and recheck that list, and then I'm okay with my mobile because I mean, you can't do it on a mobile. Maybe one day, but
Well, I'd say it's like I was saying, take it. It's intimidating. And I think for a lot of people, but it is there. It's really good, and there's little things you can do to make it, but have fun with it and find the good stuff in there, find the good people in there.
Ira has so many good lessons. He's such a great teacher.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Paula, it's so great to get to talk to you finally. We've been connected for a long time on LinkedIn, and I just really appreciate everything that you do and how you help myself and everyone.
Yeah.
So you are actively helping people with writing now? I'm asking a question kind of, I don't know, because I was just going to say, we can talk, you let people know if that's what you're doing. If you're not, hey, that's cool. But I always like to let people know they can reach out to you on LinkedIn and talk if you need some creative writing done, if that is the case.
Thank you. Or, or just, if you're having a bad day,
yeah,
visit.
there you go.
When's the book going to be out, Paula?
Yeah.
When's the book going to be out?
Oh my gosh.
No
I don't
pressure.
have a date in mind. I
There's someone we should introduce you to is Connor Apostolopoulos.
Yeah.
He and Dr. Elia wrote that book in like 6 weeks. He can tell you what it'll
I
take.
have the stuff written. It's just composing it in the way I want to do it, because I really want to do it the right way for me. There's some children books in the way, and then there's also the poetry, but I have to compartmentalize and do the presentation. I don't know what I want to do with a hardcover, probably a soft cover, but I don't, this whole online stuff goes straight to Amazon. I'm wondering if that's the way I want to go, or work directly with a publisher. I'm still debating that. So I'm talking to different people.
Sure.
I mean, stuff's written already.
Yeah.
Half the work's done.
Connor and Elia went through it. I think they've done, and Elia's done 3 or 4 books, and I think he's done hardcover. But anyways, we'll connect with those guys. They're great guys, and
stellar guys.
Just for the
there is a book
their experience
in November that I am a contributor in and part editor of, but that was one of my projects over the summer as well. So
nice.
But that's just one thing. So
you're keeping yourself busy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Just awesome to have you on and talk and learn more about you. And if people want to talk to Paula, just look her up on LinkedIn. And thanks again. And we will have Danny Shannon on Thursday. Now, if people don't know, Danny is he's just a really, really exemplary example of somebody that he overcame addiction at a very young age. Now he's out helping people, and he's such a positive influence. And he's coming to us from Australia. So, hey, it's going to be the first person that we've talked to that's in Australia. I mean, recently we went first one in the UK, so out of the United States. Then I think we went someplace else out of the United States. Now we're in Canada, which is outside of the United States. And we're going
international, 100%. We are full on
international.
International. Yeah, that was Liz Jones. Love her.
Yeah, Liz. Yes, it was.
Liz Jones looked great. Yeah, that was great.
She's awesome.
That was Australia, though. They're pretty much on the opposite, same time zone as us, aren't they? Completely. So England for Liz, but
it's 9:00 on Friday at this time at 3:00 our time. So he's ahead in the next morning. So, but anyway, we'll ramble on like that forever. Thanks so much, Paula. Thanks everyone for watching the Exit Your Way Roundtable today. We're signing out.